seek refuge in God from the accursed Satan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. May the peace and blessings of God be upon Muhammad and his blessed family, and to each one of you, dear brothers and dear sisters who are following us in this class. A new class on emotional intelligence, class number 34. We have indeed reached that point. What are the characteristics of a failed couple, an unhappy couple? A couple that has not learned to develop their emotional intelligence. In simpler terms, a person who cannot control their emotions. A character, an important factor that will lead to moral decay, or rather to a clear annihilation of a couple, is that they always fall into prejudices. Prejudices are poisons that are truly deadly. They kill love, they kill trust. 2001, and in the end, they kill respect, and everything is lost. Everything. Then a family unit will ultimately be wasted, it will be lost, and it will disappear. How so? Look, brothers, we always have negative emotions. That happens with events. We can make negative interpretations of everything that happens. One thing happens, and we can interpret it pessimistically or optimistically. In a couple's life, there have always been good things and bad things. When we talk about prejudice, it means that I am going to gather previous negative events as arguments, as part of an argument, and what has not happened yet, I will judge based on that prejudice in that negative view. So due to that event, to this, now that my husband is taking too long, something must be happening. Then it leads to a prejudice. And when there is prejudice, the person gets upset, feels oppressed, feels betrayed, and then they feel completely justified. They feel, look, it's an emotion, it's a feeling. They feel fully entitled to mistreat their partner, to complain, to shout, to do something, to seek justice. Right. So for example, a simple example, a woman calls her husband is on a trip. If it is, for example, 1 a.m., it is 11 p.m., the woman calls her husband, calls, and then the man rejects the call. And the woman says, oh look, how could he have rejected me at this hour of the night? What is happening to him? Who is he dating that he can't respond to his wife? Look, he is on a trip. Yes, on that date, he had such and such ex-girlfriend in such city. I once saw that I was chatting with a girl. Look, and at 11 p.m., what kind of meeting could it be? Nothing business related, nothing commercial. It's impossible that this has happened. So now that I am calling him and he is rejecting my calls, he answered me once and said, look, I can't answer you. Then I called him again and he hung up on me. Just imagine what state I was in. Oh look, the prejudice, pessimism. You see, he was in bed with his lover. So he couldn't answer me, because if she knew he had a wife, she would never go out. She could go out with him, you understand. She starts to misinterpret. And after several days of the trip, the man arrives home. The woman, who has been thinking about how she will take revenge for that betrayal during all these days, is then going to treat her husband with that prejudice in a horrible way. As a result, that family relationship is going to fall apart. Imagine, there could have been another thing that happened. For example, that the man on the trip had an accident and his friend fell off the motorcycle, so he took him to the hospital. During that time, you were calling your husband, and he was attending to his friend who had been injured in this crash, in that accident. So he took him to the hospital. He was busy. and then he told you, no, I can't answer you. And then later he calls me. So he, facing so many difficulties and thinking, I will endure it all for the love I have for my family, to bring bread to my home, I will endure it all. Does the man then also, if he is a sentimental, emotional man, say, look, I have made so much effort to earn money, to bring legitimate food to my home, to my family, so how is it that she treats me this way? Does she want to get rid of me? Because the man is also pessimistic. Just imagine how he will interpret it. He will misinterpret it. Prejudices. All good from uncontrolled negative emotions. When a person has not controlled their negative emotions and has let them go, these poisons run through their veins, reach their head, and kill that person, the man. So the poorly educated man also starts to misinterpret why she wants to get rid of me. It's just that during those days, she has been seeing her ex, so and so, look. Then her ex has promised her this. And because of the ambition she has, she asked me to buy her a car, and I could never do it. And she has asked me for this. She wants to get rid of me to go out and have time to be with her boyfriend, with her ex-boyfriend. And so one interprets the events, another interprets the events, the distrust. When you accumulate all the curse of misinterpretations, the result is not a blessing. The result is a truth, something so stupid, so foolish, in fact, from Satan, which is a poison of prejudice and will make both distrust one another. So we will always have fights. We will always have family problems. Where does that come from? Is it that when we are left with just one person, an intellectual will control their emotions just because a woman is alone in the house? Right. So she doesn't have that husband, the man who is going to love her, who is going to caress her, who will show her affection, sweet words and tender love, everything. Then she feels like there is an emptiness. It is something emotional. If she leaves that emptiness in the hands of negative emotions and temptations from Satan, Satan always whispers and controls us through negative emotions. Then it comes to control you and will ultimately lead you to lose your partner. But if one is an intelligent person, they will not let that emptiness, which feels like nostalgia from being apart, lead to a bunch of problems. These clashes in family life happen, for example, when the man becomes unemployed at home, while the woman goes out to study for her job or whatever it may be. The man who has been left with the disappointment of being unemployed will start to misinterpret what is happening. Do you understand me? When she receives a call, the man misinterprets it. When she is speaking affectionately, lovingly with someone, he says, look, it's her ex. If she leaves the room to answer a call, she is hiding something. Do you understand me? It means that all things will carry a negative aspect of emotions driven by Satan, by the devil. But what does the believer do? The intellect dominates things. The intellect says, look, that is your partner, it is your wife, it is your husband. You cannot let your heart, truly based on those negative emotions, indeed come to hate your wife or hate your husband. Then she will turn off the negative emotions by thinking about the good things about her husband, interpreting everything positively. Even if she receives a negative signal, for example, if he rejects her call, it doesn't matter. He is such a responsible man, working so hard, and I know he loves us. Even if she receives something unpleasant, she will interpret it in a correct way. Islamic narratives teach us to interpret up to 70 times, to find an excuse for your partner. Save yourself, brother, save yourself, sister, from bad emotional interpretations, diabolical. This is how you will enjoy life as a couple. You have to enjoy it. God has taught us to enjoy and bless our lives. A big hug and forget the complaints. Pass it on.